Well, there is the scene in the Essex countryside. The final night of fight camp is just 2 days away now. How time flies when you're having fun. Lee Wood stopped Zhu Shan in week 1. Alan Babbage proposed here after bashing Mark Bennett around for 5 rounds to his girlfriend in week 2. And in just 2 days' time, week 3, Joshua Buatsi is in the ultimate acid test against Ricards Bolotniks. Sink or swim time for Joshua Buatsi.
It really is. Firstly, I can't believe we're on week 3 already. It's gone by so quickly. I'm gutted as well. It's been amazing. It's been so good. Everything from, you know, the production to the people that we've seen here, and most importantly, the fighters that have given us some real entertainment. I was so impressed last time with Galahad and the show. But moving on to this week, what a cracker. Joshua Buatsi, we know how good he is. Had a few tests against Kalik that evening that he passed. And then the knockout against Dos Santos. Wow. Yeah. I mean, absolutely epic. But Bolotniks has got an opportunity to change his life. He won a golden contract, looked good against Serge Michel. Broke him down over 12 rounds and got the finish done. It's just, look, it's a really, really good fight, and I think the winner of this is not far off then. You know, you're talking eliminators or fighting a gatekeeper or something close to challenging for a world title.
Because it's 5 years since Buatsi went and did what he did in Rio. I think a lot of people all over the world saw how destructive he was. It's been a much slower build as a professional. Of course, some of it's been through no fault of his own, through injuries, and then of course the pandemic. But you know, 5 years in now, people, I suppose understandably, getting a little bit impatient and they want to see him off the leash now. This is absolutely, the leash is off.
Oh, of course. Look, us as boxing fans, the real boxing people will know how good Bolotniks is. I think for the others, if you haven't seen him, check Ricards Bolotniks out. He's a serious fighter. He's dangerous. He can punch with both hands. He's awkward. He's rangy. He can do a bit of everything. And this might sound silly as well, but he's in the shape of his life. I've never seen him looking so good. He understands he's going to have to be. He's turned up and look, I'm buzzing for it. Honestly, it's got all the ingredients to be an absolutely barn burner.
Speaking of light heavyweights, we hear that 1 or 2 of our new Olympic medalists may be in the house on Saturday night. We'll keep it under wraps for now, but we'll certainly be speaking to a few of them on the night if we do. 6 Olympic medals from a squad of 11 in Tokyo, and we're looking to take some of those on board, I'm sure, in the near future. What an amazing feat that was, just a word on our Olympians.
Incredible. Like, I mean, I was in awe of the talent that I was witnessing all through the team. It was incredible. It just shows you how far the Great Britain team have gone from when I was there. You know, now they're one of the main nations up there with America, Cuba, Russia, etc., the Kazakhs, Uzbeks. You know, we wasn't one of the main nations, and now look at the work they've done at the EIS in Sheffield. We are producing some real superstars, and the future of British boxing is extremely bright.
Yeah. Press conference this afternoon, of course. We're here with all of our fighters on the bill. There's 5 on the televised bill, live on Dazn 7 o'clock local time. There are 2 more, including Zelfa Barrett and Viral Simeon, who I know you boxed alongside in the amateurs, and a name you know well, has been around for a long, long time, the veteran. So those 2 will open the show. We'll be live before the bell, 5:30 local time, and the fight will start shortly after that. 8 3-minute rounds at a £139 catch weight limit. So let's head over to Zelfa Barrett, who's on the stage now with Eddie Hearn.
Well, good afternoon. The final week of fight camp this Saturday, live and exclusively on Dazn around the world, as we close out with a tremendous card, some of the biggest stars and names in world boxing, of course, headlined by an incredible fight. Joshua Buatsi against Ricards Bolotniks in what is a WBA eliminator for the world title. Tremendous fight, and lots to take you through before we get to that main event. Delighted to be joined by what can only be described as a late addition to this card. Zelfa Barrett, welcome, welcome. You'll take on Viral Simeon this Saturday. We know the background. You were due to fight in Mexico. That card got delayed because it went onto red list as well. Training really and preparing yourself for what looks to be the Kiko Martinez rematch later on in the year in Manchester. But great to get out this Saturday, and a much needed trip for you. 8 rounds this weekend.
Of course, you know, I was working hard because I thought I was fighting in Mexico, fighting a Mexican, and then, you know, you've done your magic and got me here, so I'm just happy to be here, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's been a tough couple of months for you and the family. I mean, the passing of your mum has been difficult for you as well. Important to get back and stay in the gym and obviously get this 8 rounds under your belt before moving into a major fight for your career later this year.
Of course, you know, my mum was my best friend. You know, she's with me now. Dale got on my arm here, so she'd want me to fight. She want me to be bumming around or just be feeling sorry for myself. So something I had to do. Like I said, I appreciate getting me out, keeping my mind active.
Obviously, the division right now is red hot domestically as well. You have Joe Cordina, who fights this weekend. So Martin J. Ward losing a final eliminator as well. But you're right there now with the IBF. Your rankings there. I know you want to have that rematch with Kiko Martinez as well. You feel like you won the fight, so do I, but it was close. One bad scorecard probably made people see more controversy than there was, but that's definitely on the radar for you. Kiko Martinez will box in Spain in a couple of weeks, but we'd love to do that one in Manchester and make sure everybody knows 100% you won that fight.
Of course, that's what I want personally. I want it for myself because, you know I won the fight, but I can perform better than that, you know, and we've changed a few things in the background, so we're ready for this guy, and he won't go 12 rounds. I know that for a fact he won't go 12 rounds, so, you know, beat this guy Saturday, you know, back in the gym, Kiko Manchester, and then, you know, I'm ready for these big boys or the world title eliminators or the European. I'm ready for all of them now, but I just want to beat Kiko, and then I'm ready then.
Well, we'll make that fight. I know the gym is buzzing as well up in Manchester with Pat, and I think Lyndon is here as well. Good positivity there at the moment, good momentum up in that gym in Manchester.
Of course, you know, we all started at the bottom. Amateur days coming up. So Lyndon's my brother, so it's nice to have him here and just, you know, we're both shining together. And, you know, it's just a ripple effect, Saturday night performance. And then, you know, onwards and upwards.
Well, it's tremendous to see you back in the ring. Well done. We look forward to seeing Zelfa Barrett return to Fight Camp this weekend. Of course, scene of one of the most stunning knockouts as well at Fight Camp last year. This time there'll be crowds. You'll enjoy it much more as he looks to continue his campaign in the super featherweight division, win on Saturday, and then look to make that Kiko Martinez rematch in Manchester later this year. We're going to have a quick photo up here with Zelfa, and then we'll be heading back to Chris and Darren.
Well, tough year for that young man there. Never easy to lose a parent, but at such a young age as well. So, yeah, he's been through it. Good to see him back in with a smile on his face there. I was thinking about his boxing career. You know, it was I suppose that the Martinez fight was far from his best performance. I think perhaps there was more life in the old dog than people had given. Well, certainly more miles on the clock than people had given Martinez credit for. But he wasn't good that night. I think the consensus was that he could have easily got, you know, the loss on the record against Eric Donovan. Donovan was in a great flow, and he found that left hook to get him out of jail. I think he won't take for granted the position that he's in, because he'll know how different things could be at this stage of his career.
Yeah, I think it just shows you how quickly your career can go from rave reviews to, wow, you know, the next best thing to, you know, that wasn't great. But I think they were valuable rounds against Martinez. You know, a former world champion, and if anyone who follows Kiko Martinez on Instagram, he does not stop training. He, you know, though he's well into his 30s, he's a young man physically, and it was a very good test for Zelfa, who, look, he's a very good talent, and I expect him to go on and do good things. Yeah,
well, it was some sensational stoppage for him at last year's Fight Camp. The man that opened Fight Camp, Rhys Bellotti, is also on our Before the Bell show against young Ray Ford from the United States. This is going to be a really interesting fight. Potentially last chance saloon for Rhys Bellotti to make a statement and get his career back on track. Both guys are on the stage now with Eddie Hearn. Let's hand over to him.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I absolutely loved this fight on Saturday night for so many different reasons. Raymond Ford against Rhys Bellotti for the WBA Continental Featherweight title. Ray Ford, one of the standout amateurs in the US, been looking sensational. Very unlucky to have a draw last time out in a fight that he definitely won, and one of the top prospects in US boxing against Rhys Bellotti, former Commonwealth champion, and always in entertaining fights. Absolutely must-win fight for both of these guys. Two matchroom fighters from across each other's pond. Ray, I'll start with you. Welcome, mate. That last performance was a frustrating one. Felt you won the fight. You did as well. But straight back into the fire in an absolute must-win fight this Saturday.
Yes, most definite. This one? Yeah. My last fight, it was a great learning experience. I fought another undefeated prospect. But what people don't know is I took that fight on a short notice. And on top of that, I recently had a daughter, so like that, I had to take a week off during my camp, but my team was trying to get me to, pull out from the fight, but I was telling them, like, even on my worst day, he couldn't beat me, and that was true. I feel like I won the fight easily, but that's in the past now. We're here with Rhys Bellotti, so my full focus is on him.
You desperately wanted that rematch. We tried everything we could to make it, doubled his money, trebled his money, whatever it was. He wasn't interested. I think he likes the draw with Ray Ford on his resume. But you wanted to come straight back into a big fight as well. You take on Rhys Bellotti, very exciting fighter, punches very hard. You're over in the UK as well. These are the kind of challenges you want now in your career.
Most definitely, and I feel like Rhys Bellotti somewhat resembles Aaron Perez, so that was another reason why I wanted to take this fight, to show people that I can handle pressure easily. So I know Rhys Bellotti going to be there. He's going to come to fight. He's going to be tough, and that's what I'm looking for.
Obviously, a lot of your US teammates you would have seen in the Olympics, a tremendous Olympics for the US team. First like that in a long while, Keyshawn and Richard Torres and Duke Reagan, etc. as well. Those guys now looking to make their name in the pro ranks, and you coming out of that amateur setup, you feel like now is your time to stamp your authority. First title as well. This is a major moment for your career on Saturday.
Definitely very excited about this being my first title. I definitely was watching the Olympics. I was, supporting the USA team. Keyshawn Davis, Duke Reagan, Tiger Johnson, O'Shea Jones, Richard Torres. Shout out to all of them. They did their thing in the Olympics. And hopefully we can all run it up and do the same thing how we've been doing in the amateurs and the pros now.
Thank you, Ray. Rhys, welcome back, mate. Another fight camp for you, this time with fans. Another big fight for you. Obviously, a very good fighter in Ray Ford. Inexperienced really in the pro ranks as well, and now yourself sitting here really as someone who's more experienced now in the pro ranks. Good fight, tough fight, but you're looking in great shape.
Yeah, like you say, I'm back again. It's good to be back with fans. It'll be a little bit different of an atmosphere. And it's a good fight. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to get back to winning ways.
Title on the line as well, and when you're in these kind of fights, you're almost sort of one win away from going on and actually having another major fight as well. For you, I know your defeat to Jordan Gill, you've been in those tough fights as well, but as motivated as ever to do the business on Saturday.
Yeah, probably more than ever. Like you say, obviously, I've been in tough fights. People that have beat me, they're good fighters. They're going on to do really good things. So I'm at that level where I now need to push on again and get a win, and like you say, propel myself for more and bigger fights.
I know you always used to rely on your power in there, and as you've stepped up and boxed those, smart fighters that move, and Ray is another one, Jordan Gill, Walsh, those kind of guys, added a little bit more to your game, and that experience just giving you a little bit more ring craft now, knowing that sometimes that's not enough to win fights against opposition like this.
Yeah, of course, you can't always rely on that. You have to have a different game plan. You have to work on different strategies to get to these fighters. You can't just think, I'll just go in there and bomb them out. That's not always the case, and hopefully you see that Saturday night. We've been working, we've been getting great sparring, and that will show Saturday night.
Well, Rhys, Raymond, good luck. This is a tremendous matchup. Ray Ford against Rhys Bellotti, the WBA Continental Featherweight title, Saturday night, fight camp, live on Dazn. Gentlemen, let's have a photo here, please.
Yeah, there was a time when that man on your screen is, well, not us, obviously. Rhys Bellotti was the kind of domestic danger man in the featherweight division. He was 11-0. I think it was 10 knockouts. And, things can change so quickly in boxing, can't they?
Yeah, look, I'm sorry, I was just saying, sometimes a fighter's best asset can be their worst, it can be their downfall. And the fact that he can punch so hard, he relied on it a bit too much, was loading up, etc. It's about setting traps. When you go through the levels, you can't be just winging away. You will get found out, and I think that's the case now. He's understood against Jordan, etc., that he can't just be throwing big shots. That won't work against Ford. He's got to be smart.
He's got to be smart, but the one thing that we did see in the Aaron Perez fight, and as you know, listen, context around the fight is everything, and he said, became a dad for the first time and so had to take a week off, but in that fight he didn't seem to really like the pressure. No, particularly. He's a very slick, sharp, classic American style southpaw, but when the pressure was put on him, wasn't handling it brilliantly. And Bellotti is physically strong, he's got heavy hands, and as we saw in that fight, this young man can be hit too.
Yeah, you can. Look, sometimes some fighters just don't use, they opt for the Philly shell. They lean back with it and their chin's up in the air, and that's what Ford did against Perez. He was just far too easy to get caught and didn't like the pressure. When I say Rhys Bellotti has to be smart, he needs to be smart but ferocious. He's got to be aggressive and set traps.
Well, one man who is entertained in spades is Farooq. He's up against a man with a fascinating story, Gerardo Castillo. Without further ado, let's hand over to these two men for our third fight on the bill.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, this is a tremendous matchup. Farooq against Gerardo Castillo. We've seen so many great matchups between our home fighters, if you like, and Mexican fighters over these last couple of months, and I promise you, you are about to see another one on Saturday night. The vacant WBC International Bantamweight Championship on the line. Cash, seems like every time you're out, you're in entertaining fights. You know all about Castillo. This is going to be a great fight on Saturday.
Yeah, 100%. I've been training really, really hard for this fight, and I know he's going to bring a good fight on this Saturday, but I'm prepared for whatever he brings, and I'm doing anything to win, this and pick up another title as well.
Yeah, another title for you, moving up those world rankings as well. You love to fight, Cash. I mean, you love to get in there, mix it at long range and at close range. We've seen you, like I said, last time out was tremendous as well. Is that just what we're going to see for Farooq? I'm sure your trainers will tell you not to get involved with Castillo like you have done in the past. We know he's dangerous. We know he can punch as well, but you just love to fight.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, that last fight, I kind of got dragged into it a wee bit, into a fight, but you want to win the easiest way possible, and that's what I'm going to do on Saturday night. And I went back in the gym and worked on the things I made mistakes in my last fight. And this fight, I'm going to do whatever I can to put in the best performance and probably win the easiest way possible. If that means going to the well, I will.
I know there's been a lot of fighters that have looked past Mexican fighters. Josh Warrington was talking about Kanzu and other big unification fights. Of course, James Tennyson was talking about those big fights. They both came unstuck as well. I have to ask you about Lee McGregor. I mean, we spoke about it there. He's shown his desire. I've spoken to his team about that big rematch for Scotland. I know that your mind is 100% focused on Castillo on Saturday, but of course, that is a fight that will always sit in the back of your mind.
To be honest, at the moment, it's not. I'm fully focused on Saturday night, and I've been like that through my amateur career. Since my first fight, I was like, I'm going to take a fight at a time. Until this day, I just take a fight at a time because boxing, as you know, is, you don't know where you can go after your next fight. So for me, Saturday night, and that's all I'm thinking about. I don't care what happens after that. So at the moment, it's Castillo I'm focused on. Good luck to you, Cash.
Gerard Castillo and your trainer as well. We are blessed in this sport to have so many stories behind fighters. Incredible story, Gerard Castillo, actually born deaf and unable to speak. All of his conversations happen through sign language with his trainer. An incredible story that I haven't seen before in boxing. Both Gerard and his trainer communicate via their own sign language, not an official sign language. And I'm going to speak to the trainer now, welcome via a translator as well. I've spoken to your promotional team. This is a very talented fighter who, with 2 defeats on his record, both, I've been told, were not really defeats. This is the ultimate opportunity in his career so far.
Bienvenidos primero. Ha hablado con el promotor y con todos y dicen que es muy talentoso como peleador, que ha tenido solo 2 derrotas y que no verdaderamente eran derrotas. ¿Qué quiere decir esta oportunidad para él?
Pues muchas gracias por recibirnos, por darnos la oportunidad. Yo creo que pues cada pelea es diferente, ¿no? El récord queda atrás. Nosotros venimos preparados a ganar esta pelea. Luis Gerardo quiere el cinturón. Está pues confiado en que va a ganar. Él confía en su trabajo. Nosotros venimos a hacer historia por lo que haga dentro del cuadrilátero, no por sus condiciones físicas.
Thank you so much for having us. We think that each fight is different. We're putting the record and the losses behind us, and we're prepared to win. Luis Gerardo wants the belt. He's confident in his work and that he's going to win. He wants to make history in the ring, and not because of his condition, but just because he wants to put up a good fight.
Obviously, the story with Castillo, I know you focus on the fighting, but it is the most incredible story. I heard about this only a couple of days ago. A very special relationship you two have between each other. We know a trainer's relationship with a fighter is always special, but you particularly communicate in your own way and must be extremely close as a team.
En la historia, claro que todos sabemos de Castillo. Claro que queremos enfocar en las peleas y todo, pero también la historia es tan increíble y solo la escuchó hace unos días, que es una relación muy especial entre ustedes. Cada entrenador tiene una relación especial con su peleador, pero esta es particularmente especial, ¿no?
Sí, claro. Pues necesariamente tenemos que tener mucha comunicación dentro de la vida real, no nada más en el gimnasio, para poder ir mejorando nuestra comunicación, que es a base de señas. Es muy complicado, es muy a veces desesperante dar una instrucción, dar una estrategia, dar una motivación con las condiciones físicas de la sombra, pero cada día mejoramos nuestra propia comunicación y tenemos la confianza de que pues no tenemos consideraciones dentro del ring y que nosotros venimos con lo que traemos de talento, tanto Gerardo como los conocimientos que hemos ido adquiriendo y que eso es igual a lograr el cinturón.
Yeah, of course. We have great communication, and we have to have it outside of the gym as well, not just in the gym, in order to create these signs and create this language. Sometimes it's complicated, and sometimes, you know, we get desperate to give instructions and strategy and motivation with the physical situation that they're in. But they improve their communication every day, and they're confident that they won't have to worry in the ring about communication, and that the talent will show with everything that he's learned over the years, and that they'll have everything they can to win the belt.
And finally, we've seen some tremendous victories for Mexican fighters. Mauricio Lara, Giovanni Straffon. You're coming to win on Saturday night and you're ready for war out there at Fight Camp.
Han visto muchas peleas muy buenas, muchas victorias muy buenas de peleadores mexicanos como Mauricio Lara y Straffon. ¿Vienen a ganar este fin de semana? ¿Vienen a ganar este sábado?
Sí, estamos confiados en ganar, estamos confiados en nuestro trabajo. Por cierto, ahorita que mencionas a Bronco Lara, coincidió la concentración con él. Bronco en unos días más viene a pelear, pero creo que siempre nosotros ponemos todo de nuestra parte para, como mexicanos guerreros que somos, venir a dar un buen espectáculo y que no se van a arrepentir de vernos contratado.
They're very confident in winning and confident in the work that they've done. You mentioned Lara, and their camps actually coincided for this fight. They coincided, and he's obviously coming to fight here soon. And they say, as Mexicans, we always put everything as Mexicans and as warriors in the ring to bring a good show. So no one's going to regret watching. It's going to be a great fight, and they're confident they're going to win.
Well, thank you, guys. Thank you, Cash, as well. This is going to be a tremendous fight. Do not miss this fight. Cash Farooq, in my opinion, one of the top fighters in the bantamweight division, and Gerardo Castillo bringing real war on Saturday night at Fight Camp. Gentlemen, we'll have a photo up here, please.
Unbelievable story that young man has. There is a brilliant video that we've just watched. It's just gone out on YouTube, actually, on Matchroom Boxing's YouTube channel, about the relationship that these two have and how they do communicate. And on fight night, it's going to be fascinating. Lots for us to watch out for in this fight. Coach will be Adalberto Sanchez will be kind of shaking ropes at certain points. Middle rope, top rope, and bottom rope mean different instructions. Tapping the ring means different instructions. He obviously tries not to do it too much so as to distract his man. Yeah. But I mean, you know, for a guy that can't speak and can't hear, the progress he's made and where he is beyond phenomenal. And I hate to say, sorry to interrupt, I hate to say, there will be a lot of people when they hear this story in full will be rooting for him.
Well, when you get narratives like that, someone that's had had it as hard as anybody. You know, it's incredible. There's more that will unfold, I think, when you see these videos. He's had it so difficult, you know, with his family, etc. He doesn't live a great life. Boxing is everything to him, and he's got the opportunity, and he said it in these videos that will be released, that it's his everything. This is the opportunity for him to change his life. He's from the roughest parts of South America, and that you see him there doing their own sign language. He wasn't able to be schooled properly at a proper sign language.
And he's a good coach too, Sanchez. He's in the corner of Israel Gonzalez for that world title challenge against Joran Ancajas in 2018. He knows his stuff. But I mean, in many ways, the biggest challenge of his career as a coach as well, taking this young man and knowing how much it means to him. He of course is almost he's linked to the world in many ways too.
Yeah, absolutely. His only real sign of communication. But amazing. It is an amazing narrative. Not been able to see much of him. You know, you look on YouTube, there isn't much of him. So I'm interested to see him actually on Fight Night. But I've been so impressed with Cash Farooq. Very good fighter, in my opinion. Should have got the win over Lee McGregor. Always improving, lives and breathes the sport, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Came for a tough scrap actually, Lee McGregor. A few days ago, I spoke to him after that against Vincent Legrand. He was down early in the fight, but showed a lot to get back through it. Maybe those two will meet somewhere down the line, but business to attend to for Cash Farooq. 10-3s. That's the first opening the bill on Dazn at 7 o'clock local time. Then it is Hopey Price, super bantamweight prospect, up against Claudio Grande. Let's hand over to Eddie, who's back on the stage with both the guys.
Well, the tough fights continue here at Fight Camp. No easy fights is the mantra. Hopey Price, 4-0 against Claudio Grande, 5-0. Hopey, start with you. Welcome. It's been a while coming, but you have got 2 fights scheduled in the space of, 4 weeks? But firstly, a very tough, undefeated opponent for you this weekend at Fight Camp.
Yeah, first of all, it's good to be back here at Fight Camp. There's a bit more of an atmosphere this time. And yeah, 2 fights scheduled in within the space of 4 weeks, but let's not get it twisted. Most prospects wouldn't have took this fight knowing they've got a 10-rounder in the hometown of Leeds in only 3 weeks' time, but these are the fights that I want, you know. Italian prospect, 5-0, 3 knockouts, and all I'm concentrating on is Saturday night and to do a good job on him.
We know it's difficult for a fighter when they've got almost like a bigger fight scheduled. We saw it with Anthony Fowler on the first week. We'd agreed the Liam Smith fight, and he goes in there, and it's sometimes difficult to fight in the same kind of manner. But for you, just focus to get the job done on Saturday night, and then Headingley comes after that.
Yeah, you know, fully focused on Saturday night. Headingley's in the back of my mind. I just get the job done first on Saturday night, and then we can look towards Headingley after that.
Obviously, with the pandemic, it's been difficult to get everybody out and prospects out in the same way that you'd like to get them out. You're someone that would probably have boxed 5 or 6 times a year. But what it has done is moved you at a quicker rate. Dave and the team have sort of looked at it and say, well, we're good enough to move quicker, so why shouldn't we move quicker? You have a 5-0 on Saturday. I think Hussein is 19-1 or something like that. Really, after those 2 performances, you're knocking on your door of British titles and eliminators as well. But seems like you and Dave are happy to move quickly, and you're confident that you can get victories at this kind of level.
Definitely. It's what I wanted anyways, to step up faster. And if anything, it's been a bit of a blessing in disguise because I've had more time to work in the gym and more time to spar top quality fighters. Kid Galahad won the world title last week. I've done numerous rounds with him throughout lockdown, and I feel it's brought me in a lot more as a fighter than it would have done fighting 3-4 more fights against these lower level opposition. So now just ready to fight these unbeaten guys and step up and look good doing so.
Claudio, welcome via your translator there as well. 4-0 against 5-0. This is quite unusual, but should be a great fight on Saturday.
Claudio, benvenuto. Il tuo avversario anche lui ha 4 match imbattuto. Sarà un grande match sabato?
Per me sì, io sono venuto qua per dare tutto, sono venuto per vincere e sono contento per questa grande opportunità e non vedo l'ora di combattere.
I'm grateful for the opportunity. I come here to win, and I can't wait for Saturday.
Obviously, with Dazn now in Italy and our relationship with OPI, a big opportunity for you. You're going to be giving away a lot of height like everybody does to Hopey Price, but you're ready to bring a great fight on Saturday.
Dice adesso con il nuovo accordo che abbiamo in Italia, che c'è Dazn, questa è una grande opportunità per te per metterti in mostra sabato.
Sì, infatti ringrazio per l'opportunità che ho avuto. Ho avuto un preavviso di 2 settimane, però sarò pronto per mettermi in mostra.
Yeah, I will take the opportunity to show my skill on Saturday, and I'm grateful once again for the opportunity.
Thank you, Claudio. Thank you, Hopey. The development of one of the top young prospects in British and world boxing, Hopey Price, continues this Saturday live on Dazn against Claudio Grande, 4-0 against 5-0. We look forward to this one live on Dazn. Gentlemen, we have a photo here, please.
And the handshake. Never the twain shall meet. It's always annoying.
Every single time we see each other.
I know. Well, and I just go, oh, I lost rock, paper, scissors again. It's always the get out of jail free card. I will get some clarity on this for you guys tomorrow at the weigh-in, because I think, well, I'd heard it was over 8 rounds, but everything I've seen on the list and on Box Records said 6. I know that Colwell's plan, because of the fight after this, so he's saying they're looking to push for that with the area title. So that will be 10. I know they wanted to get him out for 8 rounds. So my inkling is this may be 8 rounds, but it says 6 at the moment. But anyway, it's neither here nor there at the moment. Another opportunity for Hopey Price to see what he's been working on. There he is, always in good spirits. Do you know, really interestingly, speaking to Jordan Gill, speaking to Dave, speaking to Lerone, they said he is completely unflappable, Hopey Price. I know you saw him out in the Saudi card, didn't you, when he first boxed? But he said nothing's ever an issue for him. Dave said whatever I ask him to do, how many rounds he's done, whatever work we've put him through, every time his response is no problem. And all of them said his temperament is that of someone that could just go all the way, because he just asks, he does everything you ask him to do. And so far, hasn't really put a foot wrong.
No, he hasn't. Very good boxer, and I think that's credit to him, and he understands that he's safe when he's in the ring. He believes in himself. He believes in his ability. Whenever I've gone into the ring and I've been nervous, overly nervous, and not believed in myself because if I've not prepared properly or I've been injured or something like that, he's always in great shape. He believes in his ability, and he's a real talent.
Well, another man who is a real talent, and we saw that in Gibraltar against Chris Congo, is Michael McKinson. He's up against Przemyslaw Runowski as we get to the business end of our card on Saturday night, and both men are on the stage. Let's hand you back over to Eddie.
Well, another cracking fight, this time in the welterweight division. Massive moment for both of these guys. Michael McKinson against Runowski, WBO Global Welterweight title. Michael McKinson now looking at number 4 in the world, ready to move on and challenge for a world title. Great win last time out in Gibraltar against Chris Congo. This side, on the A side, as you were saying earlier, you've worked your way all the way here. You can't let this opportunity slip now. Everyone, all eyes on you, ready to try and move forward to get into a mandatory position for that WBO world title. Big fight against Runowski on Saturday.
Yeah, it feels different being the A side for a change. A lot more pressure on me, but that's what I enjoy. I've got a tough opponent. He's a very solid test for me. He's coming off form as well, so. And him and his team, they're very, very confident. They're very confident. But what I do best is I'll ruin that confidence. Round by round, that confidence will soon fade. I've been fully focused on Runowski. I haven't been focused on anybody else. Get the job done on Saturday, get the job done in style, and then we move on.
We know your style is tough to beat. Last time you boxed, Chris Congo also has a style that's very tough to beat. No one really wanted to fight Chris Congo. Once again, you stepped up in that fight. Runowski will be aggressive in this fight. You feel his style will suit you, and I know you want to win on Saturday, but you want to make a statement in doing it.
Yeah, I know I'll win on Saturday. I want to look good doing it. I think he's got the type of style which will make me look good as well. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to put on a good display of boxing.
You kind of slipped under the radar in boxing to get yourself in that top 5 position in the world. Do you feel a little bit more pressure now to perform and excite? I mean, you saw Kid Galahad last week. Some people have talked about his style. I think he threw over 1,000 punches last week, didn't stop coming forward. Is that what we should expect from you this weekend? I know you got your game plan to win as well, but I get the feeling you want to do it in style as well.
Yeah, I do well under pressure, and I proved that last time out. There's a lot more pressure on me this time, going into the fight the favourite. Like I said, new territory for me, but I know, like, a great occasion, a big show and everything. I know I'll perform, and I know I'll perform well, and that's all that matters, getting that W.
Thank you, Michael. Team Runowski, welcome. You took this fight so quickly. You seem so confident about this fight. You're on an incredible run. This is a big moment for you against the world number 4 on Saturday.
First, thank you, Eddie, for the fight. Thank you, Michael, to the accept to challenge. And now I speak Polish, please, okay? Because Polish language is very beautiful. Cóż, jestem gotowy. Trenowałem ciężko 2 miesiące. Nie boję się McKinsona. Wiem, że jest to dobry zawodnik. Mam niewygodną pozycję, ale wszystko wskazuje na to, że ja tę walkę wygram, ponieważ na sparingach przerabialiśmy każdy wariant sparring partnera, każdy wariant McKinsona i jestem gotowy na każdego McKinsona.
I'm ready for this big fight. I trained very hard. I had a 2 months camp. I had very good sparring partners, and I'm ready to showcase my skills on Saturday. Please tune in.
This is such a huge opportunity for you. If you win this fight, you'll go into the top 5 in the world. Michael McKinson is very skillful, very tough to beat. You have to really bring the heat to him on Saturday.
Tak, wiem ile mam do zyskania, to mnie dodatkowo motywuje, ale na pewno nie skreślam ani nie lekceważę przeciwnika. Wiem, że też doszedł tam ciężką pracą, walczę teraz o 5. miejsce na świecie i wiem, że mogę to zrobić i być 5. na świecie, także nie mogę się doczekać soboty.
I'm very confident I'm going to win this fight, and I'm going to show you on Saturday. Please, Runowski is coming.
And finally, Martin, I know you love your fighters and you're a little bit crazy. In fact, internally in the team, you are known as Mad Martin, which is a good thing, don't worry. But you really believe that your man is going to win this weekend. You message me all the time. You've been a big supporter of the quality of this young man, and you believe this is his moment to shine on Saturday.
Last time Runowski wasn't prepared to the fight. He took a short notice. This time going to be different Runowski. This time he's going to pass this challenge and we're going to be number 5 in the world. Please, let's see everything on Saturday. Thank you very much, Eddie, to give us this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you, Team Runowski. Michael McKinson, good luck. The WBO Global Welterweight title, but more importantly, the winner of this fight moving towards a shot, the mandatory position for the WBO World title. Look forward to this one live on Dazn from Fight Camp. Gentlemen, up here, please.
Just got the look of a guy that means business, isn't he, Michael McKinson, at this stage of his career? I think after the Congo fight, just put him on that mainstream map with more people seeing what he was all about. And as you say, ranked 4 with the WBO now. We all know who the champion is. If you don't, you should really probably get off this and do some research.
He's quite good, isn't he?
He's fairly good, yeah. But listen, you look at McKinson and his style. There aren't going to be many guys out there that were going to watch him and think, yeah, I fancy myself to beat that guy.
He's so confident. I mean, firstly, his nickname is so apt. You know, the problem. He really is a nightmare for anyone. He's so slick, awkward. And last time out against Congo, he boxed really well, got the win, and confidence is through the roof. There's a fight I like, David Avanesian, European champion, who, has gone quite quiet since his win over for Kelly. I quite like that fight. I don't mind that fight at all. But yeah, this is a good test for him. One, I think it will come through. Runowski's decent, he's strong, he's game, he's durable. He showed that against Kelly. But one there, I think McKinson wins this one.
Yeah, a good win over Mikhail Soroka as well. 2 proper barnstormers against Robbie Davies Jr. a few years ago as well. So that's third from the top of the bill. Second is our chief support, Joe Cordina and Joshua Hernandez. Lightweight contest over 10 rounds. Cordina back in action on Saturday night. Let's hand you over. Both guys are on the stage with Eddie.
Thank you, gents. We move on to our co-main event of the evening. In my opinion, a guy who is right there, ready to challenge now for a world title. Joe Cordina against Joshua Hernandez. Joe, I'll start with you. We were going to America. The date got pushed back because of Canelo Alvarez situation. The opportunity came up to fight at Fight Camp, I think maybe 10 days later than we asked you. You jumped all over it, been in the gym, ready to go. Great fight for you on Saturday night.
Yeah, of course. We were scheduled to fight at the end of August, I think, in LA. Obviously, that didn't happen. The opportunity came to fight in Fight Camp. I haven't fought here yet, and it's something I wanted to tick off my list. So yeah, I jumped at it with both hands. Me and Tony said 100%. We had a list of opponents, and we wanted to pick the hardest one. And Joshua Hernandez, he's 10-3, but them 3 losses, I think they're just little blips. He boxed Chris Colbert, lost to him, who's just won an interim title, and a defeat that he has soon turned back over, I think, in his next fight. So yeah, he's a tough opponent, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you look at that record, and you may be thinking this might be an easier night's work for you, but I'd probably go to say probably the toughest fight of your career to date. I know the fight in Monaco was a tough one against Tinoco, but this guy, we saw him on one of our cards in Matchroom Boxing USA, had a split decision. In fact, he should have won that fight, I think, against an 18-0 fighter. Had a very good fight with Chris Colbert, as you said. Interestingly, we're speaking to Charlie and Tony and the team and the plans for the future. I know you have your fight, your mind fixed on Saturday, but basically I kind of get the feeling now you're ready to go.
Yeah, well, everything, as we said in previous press conferences, and you know, since I started boxing, so since I turned pro, my aim is to be a world champion, and that's what I plan on doing. And obviously Joshua Hernandez is in my weight, and he's trying to stop me. So I just got to get through Saturday nights, and if I'm to go on and challenge for world titles and win world titles, I've got to beat someone like Joshua Hernandez. But like you said, he's a very, very tough opponent, and his record don't state how actually good he is. So yeah.
And obviously, coming off the Rio games, you've seen some of your former teammates as well do so well in those games as well. We always work off those cycles. And obviously now, you'd like to think that when those guys turn pro off the back of Tokyo, the Rio guys are ready to fight for world titles. Massive night for you and your former teammate, Joshua Buatsi. But you feel like now is the time, as you see those guys turn pro, and shout out to them as well. Now's your time to get this momentum coming off the pandemic and the hand injury as well. Get this win and move straight forward into major fights and get ready to challenge for the super featherweight world title.
Yeah, of course. Like you said, the cycle before us, like Kai Yafai, 4 years on, he went and won a world title. Same as Callum Smith. It's just like that same sort of scenario. This time around, the boys and the girls have finished the Olympics, and now it's our time. Don't get me wrong, I'm a couple of fights away, but we're still in touching distance. But yeah, they've done amazing, as you said. So shout out to them as well. But yeah, I'm there. I'm there. I can see it. I can feel it. And yeah, I just want to get closer and closer. And Saturday night, I got to beat Joshua Hernandez to get that little bit closer to my dream, which is to become a world champion.
Thank you, Joe. Joshua, welcome. I know you always stay ready for opportunities. We talked about this fight for the end of August again, and now you took this opportunity in the UK. I've got to say, when we had you on our show in Chicago, you was in one of the best fights I've ever seen. How you didn't get the decision that night, I think, against the opponent, I think he was 19-0. Great fighter. You've been thrown in the deep end time and time again, and another massive opportunity for you on Saturday night.
Yeah, I just want to thank Dazn, Eddie, Matchroom for having me here. It's a blessing. I stay ready, I stay prepared, stay in the gym, working on my mental, physical strength, and I feel ready to go. You know, the past is the past. My record's not pretty, but it is what it is. If you do the research, the only person to beat me is Chris Colbert, right? I should be 12-1, but it is what it is. I'm here to prove a point.
And obviously, when you fight a fighter like Joe Cordina with his world ranking positions, when you take opportunities like this, the rewards are massive. You know, you win this fight on Saturday, all of a sudden you're probably top 10 in most governing bodies, completely transforms your career.
Yes, and God doesn't make mistakes. You know, I'm a man of faith, and coming off of work, I'm a school teacher. So once the school year ended, you know, normally I pick up a job or something for the summer, and I was like, you know what? I just feel like I had a blessing coming my way. I don't know what it was, but I spoke to my brother, spoke to my family. I was like, I'm not going to work this summer, just going to focus on the sport, focus on boxing, and here we are. So I'm blessed and I'm ready.
Well, you got your opportunity. Saturday night out there, big fight for you and a big fight in the career of Joe Cordina as well. Cordina against Hernandez this Saturday live on Dazn. Gentlemen, if we could have a head-to-head, please.
Yeah, no, this is a late addition to the card. This is potentially the toughest fight of Cordina's career.
Yeah, I done exactly what Hernandez said a lot of people do, you know, judge him on his record. And I rang Tony Sims to ask about Hernandez before I'd actually watched him 10-3. I sort of said to Tony, is this a stepping stone for Cordina to his next big fight? He went, nah, Daz, he can fight. Since watched his fights with Colbert, etc., he said it's the only one that he really lost, and he pushes Colbert. He works very hard. He's a vicious body puncher. He's relentless. The other two fights that he lost, he should have got the nod. He's a real live weight. He can punch as well.
And there are, I mean, you definitely wouldn't say they're like for like. They've got completely different fundamentals, Colbert and Cordina. But you know, one's a switch hitter for a start. But both got very sharp hands, very quick feet. There are some stylistic similarities. You wouldn't say they're poles apart. And like you say, he was right in that fight. So yeah, very interesting one this for Cordina. If he does want to push on to world level, he's going to have to come through this.
This is the best example of a potential banana skin.
Yeah.
Someone you look at, you think, well, he should be blitzing him there, but flipping it, he's a very good fighter. Like you say, he's aggressive, and a win over Joe puts him so much closer to something of an eliminator or something to potentially, you know, achieve his dream of becoming a world champion.
Well, it will be new territory this for Hernandez on Saturday night. Cordina, of course, boxed Gavin Gwynn here in boxing great style. This time last year was in good form doing it, but the main event is now upon us. Joshua Buatsi and Ricards Bolotniks, the one we've all been waiting for, let's be honest, will headline this Saturday night, light heavyweight. Both men are now on the stage, standing by.
Yeah, thank you, guys. This is it, the main event of the evening for Saturday night to close out Fight Camp. This will be the last fight of the Fight Camp series for 2021, and what a way it will be to finish. This, for me, has been one of the picks of Fight Camp. This is an absolute crunch clash, a war on Saturday night in what will be an eliminator for the WBA Light Heavyweight Championship of the world. Both guys sitting inside that top 5 with the WBA. Both guys on great runs. Both guys super tough. Both guys can punch. Both guys love to fight. This can only go one way on Saturday night, and we cannot wait to witness it. Joshua Buatsi, JB, welcome. The time has come, quite frankly. This is it. And these are the fights that I know you get excited for. These are the fights that I know will help you dig deep in camp. And a lot of people very excited about Saturday night.
Yeah, this is it, Eddie. First of all, thanks everyone for coming out here. And yeah, this is the fight. You know, you've been eager to make it happen from early. And when this was offered to my team, we said yes straight away. So it's a good fight. The ring outside looks good. So I'm looking forward to it, man.
Obviously, a lot of people talk about, you know, you two love to entertain, you love to fight as well. I know there's part of you that's incontrollable. You know, whatever Virgil Hunter says, and I'm sure you've got your tactics going into this fight, but you do love to get in there and let your hands go. You love to be in close quarters, and this guy will be right in front of you on Saturday.
Yeah, man, and that's good for me. You know, I say, Eddie, we can go in there to box with a strategy to do this, to do that. But sometimes you're going to have to fight. Sometimes the tactics will go out the window, and it's man against man. And, you know, we'll see what happens and how it goes. But I'll be prepared. I've covered all aspects, whether it's boxing, fighting, whatever it is. I'm ready, man.
You saw Craig Richards do a great job against Dimitri Bivol in what ended up...
I haven't seen it, Eddie, but...
Okay,
yeah.
Fairly close fight. Yeah. Fairly close fight, and a good performance from Craig. People talk about the levels between the World Championships and where you've been fighting. This is what we always talk about, the perfect, almost yardstick to see if you're ready for those big challenges. And I know you're just focused on Saturday night, but a commanding victory here at Fight Camp would put you in a great position to challenge for the world title.
Yeah, for sure. It would be a good gauge to see where I'm at. And I think even for you yourself, you know, you've been kind of wondering where I'm at. So I think a good performance from myself will give you the green light to say, you know what, let's get the belt now. So either way, I'll be prepared, man.
I know, as I said to Joe Cordina, I know you've got GB squad running through your veins. It's been a massive part of your life. Must have been incredibly proud of the men and women in Tokyo who did such a great job. And as I said to Joe, coming off those cycles, we always get to the point where those Olympians will turn pro and the former Olympians are almost ready to be in those crunch fights. So quick word on an incredible team and also your time now to make that big step.
Yeah, man, they did well. Props to the team, the staff, everyone. It was a whole joint effort from Team GB. And, you know, they're going to look out for what promoter to come to. I can't say the man's not Eddie, so you have to say that. So, I'm sure they'll make the right move, but incredible from them. And it's my time, man. 5 years as a pro now. Good opponent, and we'll see how it goes. I'm more than ready.
JB, thank you. Ricards Bolotniks, welcome. So many people so excited about this fight. Golden Contract was incredible for you. You became a real fan favourite with your exciting style. Joshua Buatsi, an incredible fighter. This is a massive moment in your career.
Yeah, of course. I don't understand everything what you say. Yeah, like
not a lot of people do.
Yeah, difficult one, but all right. Hi everyone. Yeah, of course. I won the fight. I won this fight. I won Buatsi straight away after Golden Contract. Yeah, and I said that, and now I'm here. I'm so happy, and I'm ready for Saturday night. I'm come here to win, only for victory. I know Buatsi is. He's a massive star here. He's a good boxer. He's a hard punch and strong lad. But I'm here only for victory.
One of the comments I saw in your interview was that you want street fight with Buatsi. Is that? I mean,
yeah,
he loves to do that too.
Yeah,
so we could get a great fight.
Yeah. Like everyone, I'm sure the old guys have street fights. It's incredible. You know, it's perfect. In Latvia, I so many times was fighting on the streets. Yeah, and boxing is different. It's more professional. But I know Buatsi will. He's ready, and will show the massive fight.
You look, as I've seen on your social media, in tremendous shape. You've trained really hard for this fight.
Trainer.
Yeah.
A good
trainer. Shout out to the trainer. But you look 100% ready for this fight on Saturday.
101, definitely.
Good. And finally, for you as well, this is a big fight. You win this fight, you will go on to challenge for the world title. You'll be giving it everything in the ring on Saturday.
I'm thinking only about Saturday. And I'm thinking only about Saturday, but next, of course, yeah, we won a world champion, and I have the perfect team, Dmitry Shekale, who training Maris Briedis, and so we're looking forward, for future. So, but now I'm ready for Saturday. I won that fight.
Thank you, Ricards. Thank you, Joshua. What a fight. What a way to finish fight camp. Whatever you do on Saturday night, do not miss this fight live on Dazn. As the sun goes down at the Matchroom HQ, the darkness sets in, the fireworks go off. There will be ultimate fireworks in the main event. Joshua Buatsi against Ricards Bolotniks, an eliminator for the WBA Light Heavyweight Championship of the World. This is going to be an incredible fight. Do not miss it. Gentlemen, if we could have a head-to-head here, please.
Yeah, it's interesting seeing that head-to-head. It's about an inch or so in height, but the difference you'll see on the night is that Buatsi fights a lot taller than Bolotniks. He fights very low, he's kind of crouched in as well, so you'll notice quite a discrepancy on the night when they meet at centre ring.
Yeah, really wide stance, Bolotniks obviously loses height with that, and with Buatsi, his base is very good, foundations, his stance is very good. And look, we've got the main man.
Yeah, and the mic's at the right height as well.
Don't worry.
There you go, mate. How nervous do you get on nights like this when you've invested a lot in a fighter and you know that this is potentially a career-defining night for him?
More excited than nervous, because this is what you want. You know, like those nights where you know Buatsi can't lose. Those nights where you're going through the motions, and that's important in the development of a young fighter's career, because you've got to go through those stages. But then all of a sudden, you get to a stage where it's like, That's why I said, this is it, mate. I mean, there'll be plenty more this is it moments for Joshua Buatsi. But this is it. Like, you go into this fight, he could lose this fight. Like, it will be a shock, but it won't be one of the big upsets of all time. Ricards Bolotniks is on a tremendous run. Yeah. You see with his team and Maris Bradis' team, these guys are here to win. He's in tremendous shape, but I personally feel that Buatsi's really special. And that's why I'm so excited about this fight, because I want to see it. But you only see it in this kind of environment. You don't see that against Dos Santos and guys like that. Yeah, you can go through the motions and knock someone out and look good. But what happens when the heat's coming back? You saw it a little bit against Kalic, but I don't think he was prepared for the Kalic fight mentally in that way.
He was flat, wasn't he?
He was very flat. He won't be flat on Saturday because he's aware of the threat of Bolotniks.
And you mentioned him, the Olympians there. We remember how good he was in Rio, and that was because he knew how good the guys were on the opposite side of the ring to him, and he came out with that mentality. Yeah. He will not be taking any chances with this guy. I think maybe at some point he's just settled at certain levels, and he's actually had, you know, sometimes you can drop your level if someone's not there, but he won't do that against Ricards Bolotniks, will he?
No, and he can't afford to, because he's a serious opponent, live opponent, who is very close to potentially change his life. You touched on it there, talking about world titles. Realistically, is it next, an eliminator next for the winner?
I think so. I mean, this is an eliminator. Sometimes you do a final eliminator. Yeah. We represent Dimitri Bivol, so it's not going to be a difficult fight to make. Yeah. It's just when you've made that commitment and investment to a fighter, you don't want to get it wrong. So this, for me, is the perfect night to tell us where, if he goes in and does a job on Bolotniks and really, like, I believe he's ready to fight for a world title. If he struggles, I mean, you know, if he gets beat, I mean, then of course the answer's no, quite frankly, because there are levels above Bolotniks, and Dimitri Bivol's one of them, and Beterbiev is another one, and Joe Smith, you know, they are just one level above Ricards Bolotniks. But what Bolotniks brings, which is different, is just intensity and firepower, which those guys might not. You know, you saw that when Dimitri Bivol boxed Craig Richards. He was quite happy to fence it out and box at range. Bolotniks isn't going to do that. There's no way Bolotniks is just going to decide to sort of box at range and sort of coast through rounds. He knows what he's got to do. And Buatsi will have a game plan through Virgil Hunter, which will probably be get behind the jab, you know, move in and out of range. And once the pressure comes to him from Bolotniks, I think that'll unravel quite quick, because that's how he fights. But that's the one area he's got to be careful in, is to not do that too early or too carefree. Because the last thing he wants to do is just start trading off with Buatsi in a Bolotniks in a gunfight. Doesn't have to. He can outbox him, he can break him down, he can work his body, has a fantastic jab, but he will. You know he'll do it because it's in him.
Yeah. We see that from the Olympics, didn't we? There's this rawness, there's that fire that makes him so exciting.
Yeah, plenty of rounds of sparring as well. He loves it, absolutely loves it. It's going to be a great fight. And what a way to... no, definitely not. I wouldn't be here to tell the tale. What a way to close the show.
Yeah, and actually I think a great card. You know, I think, of course, this is the focus on the main event as well, but there's a lot of people talk about sleepers. You know, I love Ray Ford against Rhys Bellotti because Ray Ford, one of the top amateurs to come out of the US system, you know, starts building up an unbeaten resume. Really unlucky not to win his last fight, in my opinion, but has to fly over to the UK and fight Rhys Bellotti. And you kind of get the feeling that with some of these guys, when they do that, like Ray Ford will walk out on Saturday. Rhys Bellotti's got quite a lot of fans here. He's fighting a Brit in Britain, and he starts thinking to himself, blimey, what's going on here? But then if Ray Ford can go and win comfortably against Bellotti, it's massive for his career. He can show his pedigree. Yeah. I'll tell you something now, Farooq against Castillo is going to be an absolute firefight. Unbelievable. I mean, you know, for those who don't understand that backstory, I'm sure you've told it. Castillo, you know, born deaf, unable to talk, never had the ability or the funding to learn sign language, so has his own sign language with his trainer that they've built up over the last 12 years. And lives on his own, never travelled outside of Mexico as well, and has 2 defeats on his record. And I spoke to JC from Zelfa last night, who, you know, has sort of helps us facilitate Lara and all these fights. I said, give me the backstory on Castillo. Told me that backstory, but then told me 2 defeats. It weren't even close to defeats. Right. He said, went on an away show, you know, lost decision. He said, the kid is tough, the kid punches like you've ever seen. And you know the backstory and where he comes from. This guy is, what an opportunity
This is the opportunity for him to change his life.
I know, and I think, honestly, this is a really dangerous fight, Farooq against Castillo. I'm really excited about Runowski, because I really believe that fight is going to push Michael McKinson. I think he'll look good in that fight. He needs to make a statement.
That's what I said.
You know, ultimately, we saw it a little bit with Galahad last week. Just sometimes the criticism is yes, for a hardcore boxing fan, wow, we love watching Galahad, we love watching McKinson but as a casual boxing fan or someone that tunes in, you saw it with Alan Babbage last week. I mean, it did go, as I said, it went a bit Weatherspoons after 4 rounds. But do you know how many people had come up to me this week going, oh my God, the Savage, he is unbelievable. And ultimately, you have to entertain. I think McKinson in this fight can actually do that. I think he can step on the front foot a little bit. I think he can let his hands go. Runowski will be right in front of him. And Joe Cordina as well. Don't be fooled by Joshua Hernandez.
I like this fight.
Don't be fooled by this guy's... And actually, to be honest with you, sometimes, like, I wouldn't normally put Cordina in with a 10-3 kid, because it gives people the opportunity to go, oh, he's 10-3, right? I promoted the show that Hernandez boxed on against the kid who was 19-0. He won that fight comfortably. It was an absolute war, right? As he said, he lost to Chris Colbert, interim world champion, very talented fighter. That's it. This kid should be 12-1. I'm telling you now, that is going to be a cracking fight.
I rang Tony.
Really good fight.
I rang Tony before I'd done any prep on Hernandez. And I went, oh, what's this? Just like ticking over. And he went, nah, Daz, you got to watch him. He's an handful. Really, really good body puncher. He's relentless. And like I said, I see the Colbert fight. He lost that, but he looked good. He pushes the action. And the other two. I
think with Joe now, Joe's got a little bit of the bit between his teeth. Just talking to him today, almost like I'm a star. Like, I'm ready to go. I want to push on now, because what he was supposed to do is supposed to have this fight, then have another fight, then have a final eliminator. And when I sat down with Tony and the guys last week, he basically said, look, scrap the middle fight, give me this fight. Once I win, throw me in, because a lot of these guys coming and girls coming out of the Tokyo Olympics, they're now going to be the focal point. So Joe was an Olympian. It's irrelevant now. That was two Olympics ago, right? So it's his chance now. And same with JB, with Buatsi. Like, no one cares you won a bronze. I mean, of course, it's a great achievement to win a bronze medal.
It's not relevant anymore.
No, you're not a bronze medal Olympian. You're a world-class fighter that is either going to become a world champion and be ready to take that step, or not.
You're not,
And now's the time to find out.
Ed, sorry, just quickly, with Zelfa Barrett on the bill, is there anything to look into that with Cordina?
I like that fight. Again, it's quite... We're kind of getting to a stage now where, with this deal with Dazn and with the budget that we have, we can make fights that sort of normally you'd go...
You might not have 18 months ago.
Fowler Smith is a perfect example of that, where normally you'd go, no, look, we're both doing our separate thing, and then you sort of find out what the number is, and then if you pay it, you get the fight, right? And that's the same with Zelfa Barrett against Joe Cordina. I believe both teams would take that fight, but if they're not looking at it. But when you start, isn't that what you want? Joe Cordina against Zelfa Barrett, what a fight. For Zelfa, he had obviously his mum passed away. It's been a very tough period for him. This is 8 rounds on Saturday. Then we do the Kiko Martinez rematch, which I think he'll win well next time out. He wants to take that fight and just get rid of anyone's,
fair play.
And then I love the Cordina fight, and that could be a final eliminator based on where they both are with the IBF at the moment.
Interesting. Well, 7 fights on the bill on Saturday night. All starts 5:30 on Before the Bell. A couple of fights there, and then 7 o'clock local time on DAZN around the world. Joshua Buatsi in the biggest acid test of his career against a dangerous opponent in Ricards Bolotniks. What a way to close the show on Fight Camp. But we will see you right here tomorrow, 1 p.m. local time for the weigh-in. Thanks for your company this afternoon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.